Good morning to all of you. I am Ann Ball. I'm a program director of MDF's Maine Downtown Center. And I would like to start this morning acknowledging the land and water that each of our downtowns and we as individuals are located on. We are on the ancestral fishing, hunting, and agricultural grounds inhabited by the Abenaki and Wabanaki people for thousands of years. We recognize that we are on Indigenous land. We are here on their unceded homelands. It's important for us to acknowledge the land we are on today as a starting point for deeper engagement with the local tribes. Beyond acknowledgement, I ask that we be willing to educate ourselves, actively and financially support Indigenous organizations such as Wabanaki Reach, and change plaques and markers in communities that perpetuate myths of discovery. Thank you for joining me this morning in honoring the traditional lands of the Wabanaki Confederacy. So we are going to get started. So thank you for joining us on Zoom today. And I hope that you have a good cup of coffee or tea for our Maine Downtown Center Awards and celebration. And I'm happy to see so many friends here on Zoom, but I am sorry that for the second year in a row, we are not meeting in person. As you saw on our opening slides, we could not do our work without the support of our sponsors. So I do want to offer gratitude to them. So we are here in Zoom, as you know, and we invite you to use the chat throughout the event. And our goal this morning is to celebrate all of the work that you do in Maine's downtowns and inspire you with the presentation of 3 awards and presentations with some real life experiences happening with 3 of our Main Street directors. So last year, we had a lot of fun reflecting on our work and creating 20 takeaways from 2020. So we're going to do it again. And this year, we're going to be sharing 21 for 21. So here we go. Our first number 1 is a big one, and this will take the most time and is very important. I would like to announce our newest member of the Main Street family, a brand new Maine Downtown affiliate program, and that is Monson. Would all of the Monson community members please put your cameras on and wave as I say a little bit about you. Monson may be small with a population of near 700, but they are mighty. And they wowed the MDC affiliate application team last week at our virtual site visit. We'd never done one of those before. They shared a lot of Monson magic. This is their phrase, not mine. Our affiliate application team included Jane Palmer, Abby Levin, Dale Dowdy, Sarah Hansen, Joanna Christ, Scott Burke, and myself. The Monson team brought together a true cross-section of community members for our virtual site visit and had great virtual community engagement. In 2019, they were selected as one of the entrepreneur pilot projects along with Lisbon and Skowhegan. They developed an artist's pop-up cottage shed for artists and makers to rent during community events to share and sell what they are doing. They developed a co-working space in a small room in the back of the town hall. Their future ideas are big and wonderful, including development of a mountain bike trail hub and trail network, continuing to service the Appalachian through hikers as they enter the 100-mile wilderness, thinking of a green belt connecting many outdoor green spaces and parks and public art. They even have identified where they think additional commercial development could take place. They're working closely with Monson Arts, partnering on art exhibits at the library and the Historical Society. And the list goes on. We are so happy to have Monson joining us and our MDC network. And yes, they are still learning, but I can honestly say we're going to be learning a lot from them. So congratulations to Monson. And Joanna, I know this isn't on the script, but could we just not share the screen so the whole Monson crew can wave? Because there are a lot of them here today. So Monson team, wave away. Great, we have lots of people. And thanks for doing that, Joanna. Sorry to throw a wrench in our plan. So thank you, Monson, and we're really excited. So we are gonna move on to the rest of 21 from 21. So let's go. All right, the first ever preservation IPA from Bigelow Brewing. They were one of our 2020 Revitalize Me grant recipients, and this was their community engagement process. 3 entrepreneur pilot projects, like I already mentioned, with a lot of great funding from the Maine Community Foundation. These 3 communities have worked hard, actually over nearly 2 years. Volunteers that get it done. Yes, lots of masked volunteers at this point, but boy, this is how our Main Streets get their work done. 5 inaugural AmeriCorps Main Street Fellows. This was our group in 2021, where we entered into our AmeriCorps program, and what great impact they had. And in 2021, we received a second Paul Brune Historic Preservation Subgrant Program from the National Park Service. So we are again administering a subgrant program, deadline March 1st for programs for buildings in our downtowns. We worked in 7 Forest Opportunity Roadmap Maine communities, focusing on their downtowns as an asset for mill site redevelopment and community development. Over 2021, we had 5 webinars, 2 workshops, and 15 optional monthly Zooms. We have a Main Street superpower. We have a newly certified Maine River Guide. And I will say, Skowhegan, as Christina said in the chat, is minus 25 today. So this is a lot different. We have 10 nationally accredited Main Street organizations. Placemaking, lots of it. 3 pictures from Ellsworth, Hollowell, and Lisbon. We were able, in a brief window, to do in-person travel to 12 communities, and we know we'll get back there. It was a record year for engagement in the Main Street Maine project, which is a collaborative project of our 10 national Main Streets, marketing their downtowns together as one of the best places to visit in Maine.
But you don't call it like Main Street.
We have 14 Maine Downtown Center affiliates with Monson. Another Main Street superpower, Amanda McDaniel can perform karaoke, our director in Main Street Bath. Partners we are grateful for. These are partners that genuinely engage in our work in all sorts of ways, for funding, specific work, participating on committees, sharing content with us. I think we are grateful. We have 17 amazing advisory council members that step up and get it done. And that's Bill and Jane, who you'll see shortly. 1 T-Mobile placemaking grant to the Augusta Downtown Alliance. Way to win this national grant, Augusta Downtown Alliance. one newly retired Main Street director. Congratulations to Rob Biggs from Saco. Activation of downtown waterfronts, including a duck in Belfast and Kennebec on Fire in Skowhegan. And this is a parody, but I want to share it with you because it's so awesome. And yes, I think there'll be a full glossy merchants video, but this is our 21 of our 21. So go ahead and roll it, Joanna. So that is our 21 for 21. Thank you all for letting us brag and boast and share the accomplishments of our entire network. We have 3 awards that we would like to share based on their 2021 accomplishments. I would like to thank our awards committee, consisting of advisory council members Scott Burke, Terry Ann Holden, and Tara Kelly. And I would also like to acknowledge Kyle Randall, who is the Portland-based artist who for the 2nd year in a row has created paintings for our awards. So now I would like to hand it over to the presenters of the 2021 Maine Downtown Hero Award. But I would like to acknowledge that the presenters of this first award are heroes in their own right. We would not have a Main Street program here in Maine or a Main Street program in Bath without these 2 heroes who are lifetime volunteers themselves, Jane Palmer and Bill King. Bill and Jane were 2 of the founders of the Maine Downtown Center in 1999. They were both small business owners and they believed in the program and helped launch it in Maine. We owe them gratitude from all corners of the state of Maine for their efforts from day one to the present. And I would be remiss if I did not ask for a toast to Bill, who just had a pretty special birthday last week. So I would like to ask you to raise those Maine Downtown Center mugs and to wave and shout in gratitude for these 2 heroes and a happy birthday toast to Bill King.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy
Yay.
birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Bill.
Right.
Thank you all. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Bill and Jane to give our first award.
Thank you, Ann. That was a very nice introduction. Thank you. Right. And as we start this introduction, I want to add a little bit to what Ann said and say, as longstanding volunteers for the Main Street program, Bill and I are fortunate to experience firsthand the importance of volunteers to the success of the Main Street organization, not only at the local level, but in our state downtown program as well. Working alongside Michael Hall, who is the executive director of Augusta Downtown Alliance, which is Augusta's Main Street program, Heather Pouliot epitomizes the value of volunteer efforts in making her Main Street work. Bill will tell you a bit about Heather.
Born and raised in Augusta, Heather Pouliot cares deeply about her hometown. The owner of Core Marketing and Design, Heather stepped up to the plate for the Augusta Downtown Alliance at a time when organizational leadership was lacking. She has spent the last 3 years working tirelessly as board president, navigating the organization through the pandemic, leading downtown Augusta's conversion to two-way traffic, and rising to meet numerous other challenges. Heather was also elected to an at-large position on the city council in 2019. And in 2020, she undertook the renovation of a historic downtown building with her husband, utilizing historic tax credits. A marketing and branding individual by profession, Heather has put her knowledge to work and grown ADA's organizational brand through a new website, stronger social media presence, new logo, and more professional looking downtown maps. With her background in promotions, Heather also helped grow Trick or Treat on Water Street into a signature event enjoyed by thousands annually. Heather recently came to the end of her tenure as board president. While she's not leaving the board, she is prevented from serving again as board president because of term limits. So this is the perfect time to honor her for her dedication and contributions to downtown Augusta. We can't think of a harder working volunteer to honor as the 2021 MDC Downtown Hero than Heather Pouliot.
Great.
That's great. Thank you, Bill and Jane, and congratulations, Heather. And we'd love for you to take yourself off mute and say a few words.
Thank you so much, Jane and Bill. Bill, my birthday was last week also, so we have that in common. This is very fitting. I do want to point out that this award was actually the most personal and thoughtful actual award with the personal painting. And my husband and I were moved to tears when we got it. So thank you so much. That was very special when we got back from our vacation to Colorado this week to open that up in the mail. So thank you very much. And you guys can all see it right there. It's actually down to the same kind of dog that I have and myself looking at the building, which is very, very touching. I just want to thank you for this recognition, for the work that you do, Maine Development Center, Maine Downtown Center, and Maine Development Foundation. We couldn't do what we do downtown without you all as our backbone and bringing us together to work with other communities. And it's truly a special organization that helps downtowns all over the country and in Maine. When I moved home about 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago in June, many people said, how can you live there? There's nothing to do. I can't believe you're moving back to Augusta. And honestly, I kind of thought the same thing. So with that thought, I do have a list of things for people to do if you are wondering what to do in Augusta. But when I did move back, I wanted to give back to my community and make it the special place that I wanted to live, and make it more enjoyable for myself, my family, for my future kids, and for everybody that visits. Downtown is certainly a passion project for me and for everyone that's involved in our Downtown Alliance, whether it's on boards, committees, or people who just visit downtown. Nothing that I've achieved in the last actually 4 years as president of the board, because of the pandemic, we kind of extended that a little bit. Nothing I achieved was done alone. And I want to thank my village downtown, my board, the volunteers that have helped make all of the amazing work possible for the last 4 years. Some of the things I'm most proud of, and I apologize, this is a little bit of a long speech, but I'm gonna make Augusta proud and kind of brag a little bit. So some of the things I'm most proud of during my time as president was definitely, number one, the switch to two-way traffic on Water Street. Michael Hall and I and a few other volunteers worked months and months and months to make that happen. It wasn't the first thought in 2019. It was definitely a long time coming. It was about 6 years before that when the first thought of it was. The rebuilding of Commercial Street, which happened right after that. A new signature event on Halloween, which was mentioned, Trick or Treat on Water Street. The new website that was developed, which brings a lot of people to visit the website and then ultimately downtown and to all of our businesses. 2 updated maps for downtown businesses. The work during COVID that our team did The Kennebec Valley Downtown Relief Fund with Gardner, that was a huge thing for our businesses and kept a lot of businesses open through COVID. And I want to thank Anne and her team for helping make that possible as well. You have 6.3 thousand followers on Facebook now. And when I started, it was just around 2,000. A huge increase in community support and collaborations in both funding and attendance at events and businesses. We've seen so much development, many buildings downtown being developed, and our branding, videos, and social media has gone through the roof, and people are actually paying attention. We were designated an opportunity zone, which our downtown folks worked with my husband, actually, who serves in the legislature, to make that happen with Governor LePage. And we have 20 plus, it's definitely more than 20 at this point, new retail, restaurants, and businesses have been added downtown since 2018. This award means so much to me and to downtown Augusta. Is so important to both myself and my husband. We have invested financially with the historic redevelopment of our 24,000 square foot building on Water Street, and we're continuing to grow our business in that building, which is Pouliot Real Estate. We're actually working on a second one. My husband is actually working on a second one. I can't take credit for that one, which will be coming soon. I'm not going anywhere. I have told Michael Hall that while I don't hold the title anymore, I am not, my commitment has not wavered, and I am still going to stick around whether they like it or not. We're in great hands moving forward with our rock star director, Michael Hall, and with our amazing new president, Victoria Abbott, who happens to be my best friend. Thank you again, and please come visit downtown Augusta and all of the growth that we've experienced over the last few years.
Wow. Thank you, Heather. And we appreciate you taking the time to get us in the weeds. And I think it's so interesting to think about you as a volunteer who are actually living the 4-point approach. You're touching it all, along with obviously Michael Hall at the ADA and your whole board. So congratulations. So now I would like to turn it over to Terry Ann Holden to present our next award, the 2021 Innovation Award. Terry Ann works at DECD and serves on our advisory council. DECD is a partner in all the work that we do in Maine, and she is a great sounding board for me personally, keeps me on track. And take it away, Terry Ann.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be able to present this award. Through the work of their Main Street Fellow, Maggie Hirschland, and Executive Director Dave Gogel, and the critical support of their board, Rockland Main Street addressed a national question: who is Main Street for? Their innovative approach began with 25 stakeholder interviews, listening and collaboration with community organizations and community members that had never interacted with Rockland Main Street before. They centered their work around engaging young people who felt that they had been systematically left out of the conversations about Main Street. The organization identified exciting opportunities for young Rockland residents to be involved, have their needs met, and contribute to the Main Street community. Specific projects included adding a city as campus component to RSU 13's summer experience program in the form of a harbor trail scavenger hunt focused on climate resilience, the design and installation of a Pride crosswalk in partnership with the Rockland Youth Alliance Network, commissioning 2 young local artists to create original works reflecting the concept of inclusive community, following a large-scale virtual community conversation on the topic, and organizing a youth-led poetry reading event. All of this work has led to the development of a youth action team with impacts for the organization, Main Street businesses and institutions, and the city of Rockland. Rockland Main Street are also gearing up to add a student position to their board of directors. At a time when everything had to be approached anew due to the pandemic, Rockland Main Street seized the moment to really examine themselves and make transformations. The Maine Downtown Center is thrilled to be honoring Rockland Main Street with the 2021 Downtown Innovation Award. Congratulations.
That's great. Thank you so much, Terry Ann. Congratulations to Rockland Main Street, our 2021 Innovation Awardee. I would like Dave, the Executive Director, Maggie, the former AmeriCorps Fellow, and Jesse, the current President of the board, to join us in the room for some comments.
Thanks, Ann, and thanks, Terry Ann. As many on the call know, brevity is not one of my strong suits, especially when it comes to talking about Maggie. But first, I just want to thank Maine Downtown Center. As Terry Ann mentioned, this work for us really started with a community conversation. But we wouldn't have been able to have that conversation if it wasn't through the support of Maine Downtown Center and some capacity building work that they were able to support us with public engagement partners. And special shout out to Joe for really helping us through that process. You know, as was mentioned, we had this community conversation via Zoom, and through that conversation, it became clear that there was a critical gap in engagement in our community. And that was echoed in some of the heart and soul work that was done years previously. And while there is an active and really engaged youth alliance in our community made up by a lot of the partners doing really, really important deep work with some of our most disconnected youth in our community, what we realized was there was a huge opportunity to figure out how we could better connect those youth to what's going on in our downtown and ways that they could engage and really strengthen some of those connections and create more social capital. You know, also without the support of Maine Downtown Center, we wouldn't have been able to get Maggie, who, as mentioned, was our Main Street Fellow. I know I speak for Jesse Rutter, who's on here, our board president. Our biggest role in this award was just getting out of Maggie's way. Our whole organization changed when Maggie joined us. The framework for participation, the outreach strategy, and the deep intention around giving agency to those who most lack in our community was all Maggie. And I'm really proud to have worked with Maggie over the course of this project, and I know I speak for Maggie when I say we're both really proud to see where it's gone. So as mentioned, we now have a standing youth action committee, and that committee is really focused on figuring out how we continue to give youth kind of a voice and agency in our community. Right now, our city council has voted to implement a participatory budget process. And so we're really focused on figuring out how we can get youth to both join that steering committee for that process to determine how those funds could be utilized, as well as submit projects around some of the ideas that we heard through that community conversation were really important to them. And speaking of art, behind me, you can see one of the pieces of art that was representative from one of the students who made a visual representation of some of the insights from that conversation around what does it mean to be a welcome and inclusive community, and excited to add this to our wall right next to it. So again, I could go on for an hour about how amazing Maggie is, and I'm so glad that Maggie was able to join us. And again, I know I speak for Jesse when I say thank you to you all.
Thanks, Dave. And Maggie, yes, we are lucky to have had you as a fellow and are lucky that you are staying in Maine and being part of Maine and workforce and everything else. So yes, congratulations, Jesse, for leading the work for Rockland Main Street as well. So thank you all. And I will say the community conversation that Dave referenced was actually work that was funded by the Sewell Foundation a few years ago, and Hollowell also got to participate in that process. And the youth work that Rockland is doing is really a trend. I would say Rockland is leading the way, but we have other youth projects happening in Gardner and Biddeford and Westbrook. And last night I was in a meeting with Old Town, and they have an amazing 8th grade program they are starting with youth in downtown. So exciting work happening, and thank you all from Rockland. Now I would like to turn it over to Zach Schmesser, who is the director of Our Town Belfast, and he is also one of 2 Main Street directors that serves on the MDC Advisory Council in a rotating way. And he is going to present our next award, the 2021 MDC Downtown Project. And I'll also say, as a side note, that Zach used to work for the Bicycle Coalition of Maine, and so it's very appropriate that he be presenting this award today.
Thanks, Dan. I'm pleased to present the 2021 Maine Downtown Center Downtown Project of the Year. Over the summer and fall of 2021, Friends of Woodford Corner, the Bicycle Coalition of Maine, and the City of Portland teamed up to install temporary traffic calming infrastructure to slow traffic through Deering Avenue, one of the main streets in Woodford's Corner. They measured vehicle speeds, documenting many vehicles traveling above the speed limit, as well as cars turning onto Revere Street against traffic rules. Deering Avenue and Revere Street are homes to many local businesses, and foot and bike traffic is critical to their success. The organization's Active Transportation Committee took to the streets over the summer to design and install their demonstration project. This demonstration project was low cost and used easy to install materials like paint and plastic lane delineators to test the traffic calming changes to the street designs. In the almost 4 months between installation and removal, Friends of Woodford's Corner collected survey data from 129 people to evaluate the project. The responses were overwhelmingly positive. 81% said the changes slowed down motor vehicle traffic. 75% reported that installation made the roadway safer. 87% of those who reported riding their bicycles on Deering Avenue said the installation made it better. 67% said that the walking experience was better, with 63% saying that it felt safer to cross the street. A number of comments noted that the area felt more welcoming and made patronizing local businesses more pleasant and attractive. Many expressed the hope that these changes could be made permanent. Friends of Woodford Corner also collected feedback on how the project might have been improved, and there were many excellent suggestions which will inform another round of demonstration projects in 2022. The project also led to realization that a bike lane could be installed on Deering Avenue, an unexpected bonus. The Maine Downtown Center is happy to be honoring one of our newest affiliate programs, Friends of Woodford Corner, with the 2021 Downtown Project of the Year Award. Congratulations to Friends of Woodford Corner.
Yay! I will remind everyone here today, Friends of Woodford's Corner is an all-volunteer organization, and this is a big deal for them. They have an incredible active transportation committee, as Zach referenced, and I would like to invite Teresa, the president, Eric Larson, who's on the active transportation committee, and Megan, who is the USM graduate assistant. And Eric, I believe you were going to say a few words.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Anne. And thanks to MDC for recognizing and making us a part of the downtowns as an affiliate. For those who are not familiar with Woodford's Corner, it's not what people think of when they think of downtown Portland. They tend to think of the Old Port and the peninsula. Woodford's Corner used to be its own downtown. It was historically the center of the town of Deering, and was kind of developed out as a streetcar suburb. But over the years, as transportation shifted over to cars, it became more of a place that people passed through and became annoyed with because of the traffic patterns there. And so, believing in us, we thank Maine Development Center, and I think we owe that as an organization to Teresa, who, although we're a volunteer organization, Teresa basically puts in the hours of a full-time executive director, in addition to having a real job of her own. And with respect to this project, as you noted, it was a partnership, and that was really the most valuable part of it. The partnership probably would not have launched if it wasn't for Nancy Grant, who is second to the right in that picture. She's the chair of the Active Transportation Committee, former executive director of the Bicycle Coalition of Maine. We have a very deep bench. Next to her, again to the left, is Jeff Levine, who is former planning director for the city of Portland and a professor of planning at MIT. Next to him is Brooks Moore, who is former planner for Wyndham, and Teresa there. The Active Transportation Committee, we got a stacked group of volunteers. So these demonstration projects are what kind of fall into the category of tactical urbanism, a phrase that was coined by Mike Lydon, who I think went to Bates College and has a Maine connection, has done workshops at Build Maine, and I did a workshop with him. Teresa did another workshop with Jim Tassi, who is third from the left in the picture there. He's the person at the Bike Coalition who really did a lot of the design work for us and put together drawings that helped us get a permit from the city to do what we were doing. The city was a great partner here, particularly Jeremiah Bartlett, who I think is mentioned in the introductory comments. When he came out to do some measurements and talk about the project, immediately said, oh, well, we can just put a bike lane through here. There's enough room. So without even, before we had opened up a can of paint, that became a permanent piece of infrastructure as a bonus. So I think what I'm really most proud of is you do the design, you partner up, you get the city. It's fairly easy to do these kinds of installations. And that's the beauty of them, is it doesn't cost much and it doesn't take very long once you've gotten the design and the permitting if you need that done. Where I think we stood out was kind of the data and other types of community engagement that we put together, particularly the survey data, where we were able to evaluate the program using mostly QR codes that linked people to an online survey that they could take. And that's where we got about 130 responses, which if you're ever involved in planning, that's a lot of responses for any type of community engagement. You can DOT, I think, would be proud to have those kinds of numbers for any kind of project that they were going to do. So again, a lot of people involved in this, and an honor to, I think this serves as just an example that really this can be done for low cost, and it's a lot of fun. And I just encourage really any other organization to contact the Bike Coalition of Maine with their Imagine People Here program and give this a try yourself. We'll be doing more of them in coming years for sure.
Thank you, Eric, so much. And congratulations to Friends of Woodford's Corner. And yes, you all can do this too. It's definitely a great way to have impact and test out ideas. And Teresa is showing us her award, painted by Kyle. Thank you, Teresa. And I'm so glad for you all. So congratulations to our awardees, and thank you to our presenters. I would now like to transition to a message from my colleague, Adam Burke, to talk about our Main Street Fellows program and our 2022 fellows.
Hey everyone, happy annual awards. It's good to be with you, and I'm excited to introduce you to our new cohort of the Main Street Fellows. Soon after the pandemic hit us in 2020, the Maine Downtown Center was able to launch the Main Street Fellows AmeriCorps program as one way to try to get more resources on the ground to help deal with the pandemic, as well as support all the good work that we are always trying to do in our Main Street communities. We had a fantastic first-year cohort, and you got to meet them all last year, and I'm really excited for you to meet Megan and Chloe today. They're doing great work in their communities, and we're lucky to have them. So without further ado, please meet Megan and Chloe.
Hi, my name is Megan Megan Hagney. I'm the new Main Street Fellow at Heart of Biddeford. A little bit about me. I just moved from Texas. I have my degree from Trinity University in political science and sociology, and I have an MBA with a focus on entrepreneurship. This work is really important to Biddeford. Biddeford is historically an industrial city. We're getting a lot of new painters. We're also the youngest downtown in Maine, and so we have all these different moving parts, and so we want to create a way where we can make it as inclusive as possible for as many people as possible. The Heart of Biddeford board decided that they want to do a better job of being more inclusive to the downtown, and so having that commitment is important, but putting a plan together is vital to making that commitment a reality.
Hi, my name's Chloe Hepburn. I'm the Main Street Fellow at Discover Downtown Westbrook. Thank you so much for having me today. To start, just a little bit about myself. I've lived in Maine my entire life. I grew up in Elliott, which is in southern Maine, and then I attended the University of Maine where I got my bachelor's degree in business management, and I have a minor in Spanish as well. Coming into this position, I really didn't have any experience in community engagement, so this has been a really great opportunity for me to learn, and I'm very excited to share with everybody what I've been working on. The primary goals of my service are to engage Westbrook residents with the arts, history, and culture, and also connect them back to the environment and the beautiful Presumscot River that runs directly through Westbrook. As part of my service, I am working with Biddeford's Main Street Fellow, Megan, to develop a welcomeability metric that we will use to measure how welcome a downtown community feels to its residents and visitors. To do this, I'll be conducting focus groups and surveys from a diverse pool of Westbrook residents. I am also working with Discover Downtown Westbrook's volunteer coordinator to build a more streamlined volunteer management system, which so far has included writing position descriptions, creating an orientation packet, and developing a system that matches volunteers with positions based on their interests and skills. Lastly, I am taking the lead on 2 events that I have planned with the hopes of engaging the people of Westbrook more with the arts and the variety of cultures that are found in Westbrook. The first will be an open house for the artists and businesses that are located within the Dana Wart Mill, of which I have counted to be nearly 75. This event will be held in April, and if it goes well, it will continue to be held every December, acting as a large-scale holiday event. Secondly, I am beginning to plan a multicultural festival to be held this summer. I have heard back from several organizations in the downtown, including the New England Arab American Organization and the Intercultural Community Center, that they would be interested in helping to host this event. I also hope to bring in an organization to represent the Wabanaki culture and educate the public about the history of Westbrook's tribal relations. As an AmeriCorps member, it's important for me to work on these plans with the Main Street Fellows' pillars of equity in mind, which are community, resilience, social capital, and welcoming communities. I am hoping that the events that I host will unite community members, honor the history of Westbrook and the Wabanaki people, and celebrate the multitude of unique cultures found in Westbrook. As the first Main Street Fellow at Discover Downtown Westbrook, it's been such a rewarding process getting to know the Westbrook community and establishing this program for future Main Street Fellows. Thank you again so much for having me today virtually, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the conference. Thanks.
Wow, you can see why we love our Main Street Fellows. Pretty unbelievable. So thank you, Adam, Megan, and Chloe, for sharing what's happening with this year's cohort. And we're so lucky that the fellows are in Westbrook and Biddeford this year. The program is amazing, and believe it or not, other coordinating programs around the country want to replicate what we're doing in Maine, which is always a nice compliment. This year, we wanted to share some inspiration and knowledge from our Main Streets and the work that they have been doing. We are going to transition to 3 breakout rooms and hope you will stay with us and take this opportunity to talk to your peers. This is what always is so wonderful when we're at an in-person event. So we're going to try to do it virtually. So please get inspired, hear from others doing this work and most likely get an idea that you can take away with you today. And I will turn it over to Joanna for directions of how to participate in this part of this morning's event.
Thanks, Anne. Good morning, everybody. Three of our Main Street directors have stepped up to lead conversations with you where this is a new element to the program and hopefully gives you a little bit more of an opportunity to hear directly from our directors about work that they're excited about and break into smaller rooms to have a little bit of discussion with each other as well. So rather than make you choose between the three topics, we're going to run these breakout sessions twice. So I'll open up the rooms in a moment. The three topics we have are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion and what it means to get started in that work with Delilah from Heart of Biddeford. Discover Downtown Westbrook's new executive director, Amy, has offered to talk about the role of main streets in downtowns and what it means to be a leader in that space. And from Main Street Bath, Amanda is going to talk about the Gift of Bath program, which is their local currency and what local currencies mean for Main Street communities.
Thank you all for participating in that way. I thoroughly enjoyed the two sessions I was in. I know the second one was abbreviated, but our presenters will share their slides. We will get those out to you. And it was a great way to connect, even though the second session was really short. And so thanks for bearing with us presenters on that time shift. I would like to introduce and invite MDF CEO and President, Yellow Breen, to make a few comments because he's been with us all morning. So Yellow, take it away.
Thanks so much, Anne. Wow, what to do justice to in 2 minutes. What a fantastic program this morning. It's amazing. I think that iconic image of Heather kicking up her heels like a more wildly exuberant version of Mary Poppins is going to become one of the lasting images for all of us of the excitement and energy of downtowns. Congratulations to Monson. I go through Monson relatively frequently to enjoy Moosehead Lake and my favorite hike at Borestone Mountain. And it's just great to see a different vision really take off there in Monson, which is, on the frontier of Maine, literally and figuratively. It's just fantastic. Kyle Randall's paintings, just amazing. I want one of those someday, so I'll have to figure out how to get one. I want to say a few thank yous on behalf of all of us. Certainly thank you to Anne and Joanna for this program, but also for their incredible work all year long on the Downtown Center. The Downtown Center is one of the marquee programs of MDF. Pretty much every single staff member touches it in some way during the year, but Anne and Joanna first and foremost every day, and Adam Burke with the AmeriCorps program. And then behind the scenes, known to many of you, Rosie Vanetestein keeps us all sane and just does an incredible job helping us think about how to weave together the programming at MDF. We're fortunate in our partners. You could go on all day about our partnerships with Volunteer Maine and Main Street America and the National Park Service and the Maine Community Foundation. But there's a couple of partners I want to mention in particular. One is Deb Johnson and the Office of Community Development, and Terry Ann is here. We would literally not be here without their faith and investment and constant support. And the other is Bill King and Jane Palmer. Bill's been a mentor to me during my time here with this program and to many others. And I was thinking about that legacy of, for some of us, given my age, like what will my legacy be in 2062 that could hold a candle to the instigation and the mentorship and the impact that you've been able to have, Bill. We're just so amazed and impressed. And finally, I'd say, I want an ice disc. I know I speak for everyone in Maine. I want my own ice disc. So just a lot of great stuff this morning. But I want to close, I guess, with maybe one example or story. And, whether I'm driving through Bath or Eastport, or Hollowell or Augusta, or if I've just settled my oldest daughter in downtown Augusta, or especially if I'm driving through Skowhegan as a Somerset County native. The word for me that comes to mind is not economic resiliency or small business support or entrepreneurship or historic preservation. The word for me is home. And so I was driving through Skowhegan last week on my way to the ribbon cutting, launching the Go Lab timber HP wood insulation mill to revive the paper mill in Madison, Maine, an architect and a chemist from Belfast, Maine. So to connect the creative economy and the thought leadership of what goes on in our downtowns to the revitalization of all of rural Maine. And so I walked into that event, and of course there were all kinds of VIPs there, but who did I meet when I first walked into that mill building full of promise? Not a governor, not a CEO, not a commissioner, but a very talented young lady named Edith Goller. And Edith's youngest sister grew up with my youngest sister in Central Maine. And among her many talents, including helping with the design work for Go Lab and this mill project, Edith Goller is an amazing stand-up bass player in the Goller family band. And so, you know, as I think about home and I think about the hard work we do, I guess I would just leave you with a couple of words or images from my research this morning. Was listening to the Goller family band's Lilting Merrily album. And so I'll leave you with a couple of images because Edith's youngest sister, Elsie, created a tune set to the poem by famous Maine poet Holman Day from a volume called Up in Maine in 1900, one of Maine's most famous literists. And it's called The Song of the Harrow and the Plow. And we started the morning talking about how it's minus 25 out there. But the close of that song is, as it talks about farmers across Maine from Aroostook to the gardens of Cumberland, that they're singing the song of the coming of spring and the song of the empty mow, of the quiver of birth that is stirring in the earth. 'Tis the song of the harrow and the plow. And then finally, a great sea chanty. So from agriculture to the seas, of what built Maine and built many of these service centers that we are all working to bring back and make anew. There's a sea shanty on that same album called One More Day. And of course, it's the song for sailors who are one day out of port. And, you know, there's verses in there that talk about one more day of hauling, one more day of furling, one more day of cursing before they make it back to civilization. Rock and roll me all over for one more day. We're homeward bound today. Godspeed to all of you, and thanks for all your hard work as you create homes in Maine for all of us, for business, for living, you know, for doing what we do. We're going home. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Yellow, and thank you, everyone. I should have Yellow just do the wrap because that was great. I just want to thank our MDC Advisory Council, MDF staff, a special shout out to Joanna and Perry from the MDC team, and of course, our sponsors, who we couldn't do any of this work without. Congratulations again to our awardees, Woodford's Corner, Rockland Main Street, and Augusta Downtown Alliance. This is Heather Poulier. And finally, to our new Maine Downtown affiliate, Monson. I hope you have been filled up with a little inspiration today. Thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of your day.